What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching a Marvel edition of the Ragin Nation show. This is web series. We're talking about all things matter in the world of Marvel films. This is episode number 121. And you guys already know that Comic-Con just wrapped up. San Diego Comic-Con finished on the evening of last Sunday. And there were a lot of highlights for Marvel. Specifically, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because they presented a couple of panels for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, and also Black Panther. Now, in this episode, we're going to recap on some of those highlights, and some of the things that I can't talk about is the footage that was shown at the panel of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, and Thor Ragnarok, because that footage does not exist online. It was only shown exclusively at those panels. You had to be at Hall H to see them. They're not going to be shown online. Maybe later on at a future, like a later date. But for the time being, there is no footage out there except for maybe if you went on YouTube to search for some leaked footage, which I'm not going to do. But anyways, they showed a lot of really cool stuff. For example, the new poster for Doctor Strange, and also new logos for Black Panther, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Thor Ragnarok, and also Captain Marvel. Now, speaking of Captain Marvel, one of the things that I'm really excited about is the fact that they announced who's going to be cast as Captain Marvel, aka Carol Danvers, and that would be an actress who I really was rooting for to be Carol Danvers, or rather Captain Marvel, and that would be Brie Larson. When Kevin Feige was gathering the entire cast of all the Marvel Cinematic Universe films together for a giant selfie, he said that, wait a minute, we're missing one more cast member, and that would be Brie Larson, who's going to be playing Captain Marvel. The crowd went wild, and I, of course, also went wild when I was watching that panel on YouTube. And I'm super excited for Brie Larson to join the cast, or rather join the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Something very interesting about all these panels that took place at San Diego Comic-Con for the Marvel Cinematic Universe is that other than Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, we're getting an entirely new bunch of cast members for all these films that are coming out. Captain America Civil War is basically the last film that we'll see for a while that unites all the Avengers together that we're so used to seeing. Like, for example, Mark Ruffalo, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, and, you know, the whole, you know, the rest of them. Now we're seeing a whole bunch of new cast members. And of course, the highlights of these panels are Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, and also Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So I'm going to talk about some of the highlights. For example, not only was Brie Larson confirmed to be Captain Marvel, but also at the Spider-Man Homecoming panel, director John Watts also showed off the concept art for Vulture. Check this out. Vulture is shown right here in the concept art, and you can see that he is very different than what we remember of him from in the comics. In the comics, he was essentially, like, literally a human vulture. Now it's getting a little bit more mechanical, and I don't mind that look because I think a human vulture would just look kind of funny to me. I mean, if they decided to do that, then that's cool, you know, that's fine, but they're totally going more mechanical in this route. So that's the Vulture for you, and I believe Michael Keaton will be playing the Vulture. Another something else they announced is that Tony Revolori will be playing Flash Thompson. Now, we've seen Flash Thompson played by other actors before, and they totally look the jock part, you know what I'm saying? But Tony Revolori, like, he's, like, we're really looking at high school age, like young junior high school age. And I didn't expect Tony Revolori to play Flash Thompson, but he is. And while, I mean, I can totally say that I feel he doesn't look the part, but I appreciate that John Watts is going for going into the realm of, like, diversity, like really diversifying the cast members by having more ethnic cast members as well as more females. There's a lot of more female roles in this film, and this is going to be very interesting. I respect the direction that he's going in. And what I'm looking forward to is the fact that they're really going into the whole high school life of Spider-Man Homecoming, or rather Peter Parker. And he also mentioned that it's going to be feeling like a John Hughes type of film, you know, kind of like Breakfast Club, or not like Breakfast Club, but at least John Hughes directed Breakfast Club. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, let's move on. Let's talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Now, that was a fun panel to watch. I saw like pretty much all the Marvel panels, and the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 panel was pretty hilarious. Something that James Gunn announced was that Sylvester Stallone is actually going to have a key supporting role in that film, and I'm going to just read to you what Kevin Feige mentioned, or rather James Gunn. It's a very, very key important role. It's not a huge role. He's a great and key supporting character. That's all he said. And I'm looking forward to that. What's really interesting is that Guardians of the Galaxy is kind of like that film, that Marvel Cinematic Universe film that is really, really out there. And they're planning to do some pretty wild and hilarious things. One of those things is, of course, cast Sylvester Stallone. In the first one, they made all these types of pop culture references, which I thought is really, really funny. But now they're bringing in big actors into this, and I think it's going to be a pretty crowd-pleasing moment when we see those actors on screen. So that's pretty awesome. Moving on, let's talk about another film that is in the cosmic, interdimensional realm, multidimensional realm of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that is Thor Ragnarok. And of course, like I said before, they showed off footage from Thor Ragnarok. We can't actually see it because they haven't officially released it online. But what Marvel did is that they actually have shown a photo, or rather put out some of their the props outside at the convention floor of San Diego Comic-Con. And what you see right here is gladiatorial armor, which of course is going to be worn by the Hulk himself, because what they're bringing into Thor Ragnarok is Planet Hulk. So Planet Hulk, that storyline is going to be pretty cool to know that it's going to be a part of the Thor Ragnarok storyline. It's going to be like a buddy road trip movie, and by road trip, it means that they're going to be traveling to all the different realms together with Thor and Hulk, and that's going to be very, very fun to watch. So these are the props that Bruce Banner is going to be wearing when he has to do battle in the arena. So really exciting stuff. One of the things that Kevin Feige also announced that was pretty exciting is that the Inhumans are not actually off the radar. They're actually still going to be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They took them out temporarily. They were originally supposed to be part of Phase 3, but they could be back most likely for Phase 4. Here's what he had to say. We've announced through 2019. We have ideas through 2021. It sounds like the future, but it's not so far away. We're determining what we'll be doing then, and certainly Inhumans will be part of that. So there you have it. Inhumans will be most likely part of Phase 4, but they still got to get through Phase 3 first, which is going to end in 2019. It seems like a far away, but when you really think about it, next year's 2017, 2019 is only 2 years away from that. And 2 years is typically the amount of time that they need to work on a big budget film. So it's really not that far away, but it is a little bit of a wait. Now, I want to talk about Black Panther. There was a panel for Black Panther. Nothing has been filmed yet, so obviously there's not going to be any footage. But one of the big questions about Black Panther is whether or not Winter Soldier is going to appear. After all, Bucky is in Wakanda. He voluntarily had himself put into cryostasis in Wakanda because he thought it would be for the greater good to keep him away from, all the craziness that is happening in America. So it's a safer place to put him in Wakanda. And well, here's what was mentioned at moviepilot.com, and this is what Sebastian Stan said. I don't know, man. I mean, there's obviously a very clear answer, but I'm not maybe say it now where did he end up at the end of the movie? That's the movie he should be in. I feel like that would be the natural, but I don't know. So what he means to say by that is, what he really means by that is that Bucky is in Wakanda, but he can't really say anything because obviously that would be giving stuff away. Another thing is that they haven't actually told him that he's going to be a part of Black Panther yet. But there's only one thing you need to know, and this is something that I mentioned quite a while back, and that is Sebastian Stan actually signed on for a total of 7 films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's appeared in Captain America, The First Avenger. He's appeared in Captain America, Winter Soldier. He's appeared in Captain America, Civil War. And the 4th film could be Black Panther. I don't know what's going to happen after that, but he is signed on for 7 films, and he's only accomplished 3 out of the 7 in his contract. So I'm pretty sure that we're going to see the Winter Soldier in Black Panther, and I think he's going to need some help. I mean, by him, I mean Black Panther, because I think he's going to be fighting multiple villains. Anyways, the last thing I want to talk about is a potential Black Widow movie, and Joss Whedon, the director of Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron, left the Marvel Cinematic Universe in not really good terms, because he wanted to leave. He didn't like working with Marvel. He thought it was very, very difficult to work with Marvel. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't anything between him and Kevin Feige. It was more him, Joss Whedon and his issues with the studio executives of Marvel and Disney. They're a little bit more difficult to work with. It's kind of like just dealing with creative differences and that kind of thing. All right, so that's why he left. And he doesn't want to ever deal with Marvel ever again. But he did mention that he expressed interest in directing a solo Black Widow film. And he said that he would totally come back if Marvel wanted a solo Black Widow film. He would love to direct that. Let's hear what he had. Let me just read to you what he had to say. I think that character really is very interesting and very earthbound. So it's the kind of action that I got to do less of with somebody like Thor or The Vision. When you get into your Superman territory, it's harder to maintain the gritty action that the Russo brothers do so brilliantly, and she's got that kind of thing, and you can really do a spy thriller, like really do a good paranoid John le Carre on crack sort of thing. That would be really fun. So what I gather from this is that Joss Whedon not only wants to do a Black Widow solo film, but it would be a real great opportunity to step back into the realm of Marvel, but do something that the Russo brothers did. And that is do like a kind of like a political thriller type of deal like they did with Winter Soldier. You can have some really grounded action with Black Widow and not do things like, you know, what the Vision or Thor or Superman would do, because that's a lot of high-flying action which involves true superheroes. And by true superheroes, I mean like guys that are like you know, invincible and can fly around and can shoot things out of their eyes and, you know, things like that, you know. I think he really wants to work on something that is a little bit more grounded in reality, add a little bit of like espionage and spy stuff in it, and that would really make for a great film. And that is something I would love to see. A Black Widow solo film, but not only that, one directed by Joss Whedon. I think that he could do a really, really great job with that, considering that he's got this really great chemistry working with Scarlett Johansson. So, anyways, that's all I gotta say in this video. This has been a recap of all the highlights in San Diego Comic-Con, and what I would like to ask you guys is that, would you like to see a Black Widow solo film, and who do you think should direct it? I think Joss Whedon is a great choice, considering that he is familiar with the material. But if you guys think anybody else should direct it, let me know in the comment section below. And who do you think Black Widow should fight in a Black Widow solo film? I hope it's happening in Phase 4. I really hope that Kevin Feige considers that. And hopefully we'll get to see it in a couple of years. Anyways, that's all I gotta say in this video. As always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. My name is Alex Yu. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.